Yes, what's good, people? Race for Europe is back. 12th man is back. Big up to every single one of you for being here nice and early. We tried to get on time at 8 p.m., but it was actually me who was last on. We do have LB, Deji. We've got Pete who's going to jump on tonight as well to talk all things Newcastle's. Big up to all of you guys. Do you know what? It's time I invited a Forest fan on soon, but they're playing tonight, so they're not available.
You may as well get rid of me now, Pops. Just get rid of me now, mate.
Nah, man, you're staying until you go out of Europe, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
As long as Lawless doesn't come back.
Nah, Lawless ain't coming back, man. Big up to Dan, big up to Errol, big up to Charlie, big up to Billy. We got obviously LB and Deji joining us. Pete's coming to come on after his stream. And we've got a couple of things to shout out before we do get into things. And of course, the first one is our sponsors, Reality Raffles. There's an unbelievable opportunity to get to football games. £500 of a match day experience is in the description. So please make sure you click on that link. It's only 99p for a raffle ticket. And if you do want to use the code FTM10, you get 10% off that as well. So it's an absolute bargain. There's instant win opportunities as well. A lot of people DM me a lot of the time saying, how do I get to the Emirates, Dan? Well, look, there's an unbelievable chance for you to do that here. And it isn't just, of course, Arsenal. It's any football stadium or match of your choice once you do get the prize. So please make sure you get in with a chance to win that. The draw is Friday, people, so you do not have long. So please make sure you click on the link and get that sorted. We also do have the link in the description for our live show. It is the first 12th man live show, actually. We have been to the Hippodrome before with a lot of other YouTubers, but this time it is for This Is London. All of the panel will be there, including some special guests that you will know from the world of YouTube as well. All you've got to do is scan the QR code or use the link in the description, and you will see us at the Hippodrome on the 24th of January. So please make sure that you are involved in that, people. Big up to everyone. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. Let's start with you, Dan. My goodness, what a game of football yesterday that was, particularly in the second half. For the neutral, it was a superb game to watch. Some individual performances that I think you would be proud of. For me, I thought Bruno was superb. I thought Ugarte was outstanding. And I've been a fan by a couple of the performances I saw, and it would have filled me with a lot of confidence for sure yesterday as far as Manchester United are concerned. I felt like baby steps were kind of the baby falling over, and now you're starting to crawl and you're starting to walk again. That's kind of how I explained it, because Amorim's going to need time, man. Some of these players just aren't it, in my opinion. But you wouldn't have known that yesterday. I thought it was a really good performance from Man United, and I actually think they 100% deserve what they got, and may have even, if they had Billy up front, won the game, Dan. Do you know what I mean?
It's Rich coming from... I saw Watkins Sky one over the day before, and I didn't hear anything from him about that.
And I'd have buried that one as well.
Of course you would have, mate. That's why you sat on YouTube and not playing football, yeah? But okay.
Any professional footballer should be hitting the target with that. Full stop.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm gassed, but what I'm more happy about was the interview after the game. If you've seen on my TikTok channel, that's what I really went on today, is the fact that the manager come out and he was fuming. And quite rightly so, because we've had so many managers in the past where we've come to places like Anfield, we've gone to the Emirates, we've done things like this where we've pulled a result out where nobody expected it. And they've never, ever said what the fans have all been saying, which is, why can't we do this week in, week out? We've had some shocking performances. The Newcastle one was just an absolute low. So for him to come out and say, I've not gone in and spoken to the lads, I'm angry, I absolutely love that. And I think actually what we saw last night finally was him actually coming out and saying, if you read between the lines, I don't trust these players. And I think that's what it is. The only thing I disagree with him on slightly was he said that training had nothing to do with it, it's attitude. I don't agree with that wholeheartedly. I think us actually being able to train with him for a week, I think that's helped. I think we saw a bit more fluidity with the lads yesterday, the way they were pressing, the way the ball was being shaped around. The one thing as well is I've backed the kid for so long, since he's been here, and I said he needed time. I've said he needs the balls to be the service, but Højlund's not it. Højlund isn't it. I watched him yesterday get swallowed up whole. But look, I said on the TikTok channel, I could see, I was calling it the steps game, 5, 6, 7, 8, because I could see that many goals going in. But they stood up. They stood up yesterday, and they stood up and they're accounted for. I think a lot, and Errol will probably agree, had to do with, I don't think Liverpool were anywhere near their best yesterday. It was probably one of the worst performances in the Premier League for them this season. But look, it's a point when no one expected it. But yesterday will account for nothing if we don't go to Arsenal in FA Cup and put a performance in. If we don't have Southampton at home and put the performance in, I think we will see movement in the transfer window. Obviously, at the start of the month, we heard Amorim say no, nothing. But now he's already changed his mind on that. If we can get something done, we will. There's been news coming out that Xerxes gone in my eyes. Xerxes not a Premier League player. I felt for him at Old Trafford, but look, the fans are the fans. They've been through hell this past 10 years. So what if they have an opinion? A player absolutely stinking the place up. It's not the first time he's done it this season. He'll be gone. I think Anthony's finally got Olympiacos. Apparently, maybe looking at him. Rashford. I think Rashford goes. I'm so happy about that. I can't wait for that to happen. I'm sick of speaking about the bloke. And I think Casemiro goes. Eriksen maybe, but obviously we need to make sure with the players that are going out, the players are coming in. And also Luke Shaw. Look, Luke Shaw did an absolute worldie, didn't he? New Year's Eve, hasn't played more appearances on TikTok than he has for United in the last 6 weeks. Absolute twat. I've been a big fan of his for so long, but it's time for him to go. So I think he'll go at the end of the year. It's not going to happen overnight, but there's signs in this manager that there's someone here that wants to succeed, and I think he's going to be back to succeed. So a point for us yesterday, could have won it, absolutely fine. But I move forward, and we just need to make sure we continue this going.
Dan, you're not worried that this could just be like a one-off, that you've raised your game for like Liverpool, and
100%,
like because it is a bit of an anomaly from what we've seen under Amorim so far in terms of the results, the performances. I don't want to disrespect United and say it's like, a big, like a cup, like, a lower league side getting up for an away day at a big club in the cup, but it does have a little bit of a feel like that. I mean, it's sort of come from nowhere. I mean, don't get me wrong, he has made improvements, but you worried, like you said, it means absolutely nothing if you go and lose at Arsenal, if you don't get anything against Southampton, or you just lose your next few games. I mean, you're concerned this might just be, we got up for a big game, but the mentality is actually not really there when it matters.
Charlie, 100%. Look, we've seen this from this Manchester United side already this season. We went away to City and won 2-1, and you thought, right, that's it. The players, they get it now. They get it. And we went and stunk the place out after that. So I completely back what you're saying there. I really do. Look, it's just we have to take it game by game now. I see United fans on Twitter, on YouTube. That's it, with the managers. They're getting what the manager's saying. It isn't. You have to take it game by game. We're not getting Europe this season. Our only chance of Champions League, believe it, is the Europa League. There are some teams in there that will pull us apart the way we've been playing the last few weeks. But like I said before, I'm not sat here saying that's it. We're back on the map. The players 100% have to back this up on Sunday against Arsenal.
Yeah, I think so. Look, I was a fan of some individual performances. I mentioned Bruno, I mentioned Ugarte. I thought that Dalot played really well over there, and I feel like the system finally started to work. That left-hand side absolutely destroyed Liverpool. But Errol, I've got to say it, man. I thought that was one of the most embarrassing individual performances from Trent that I've ever seen. And I'm a huge Trent Alexander-Arnold fan, man. But how the hell you could be that bad individually? It was scary. And I don't know if it is the Real Madrid stuff. I don't know if he had a night off. I don't know if it's a mixture of the both. But wanted to get your thoughts, because I thought there was a few Liverpool individuals that were pretty poor, if I'm honest, other than I'd say Gravenberch and McAllister. But maybe you disagree, bro. What are you saying?
No, so I can't just talk about the positives about where Liverpool are right now, sitting top of the league, still 6 points with a game in hand. I got to look for the negative before I can talk about the positives, yeah?
Well, apparently so, because every time I ask you, you're going to win the league, you can't tell me. So, we'll have to talk about the negative.
Fair play. Nah, do you know what? It was a difficult one because, I think Trent was probably the most notable in terms of bad performance. And I'll get to Trent, but I think it is worth mentioning. Canate looked like he'd been rushed back. And I think if Gomez didn't pick up the injury the last game, I think he's done his hamstring. I think he would have probably given Canate the rest. We brought him back because we probably didn't want to do Kwanzaa again after what happened last year against Manchester United. So it might have been a little bit more of the experience, but he didn't look fully fit, in all honesty. I don't think Curtis Jones had a particularly good game in midfield. I think we missed the presence of a Dominic Szoboszlai. I think that was noticeable as well. Someone to really close down the space, make the pitch really tight in certain areas, especially over on that right-hand side to obviously alleviate some of the frailties in Trent's performance. I don't think Diaz through the middle. That's probably the first game Diaz playing through the middle didn't work, in my opinion.
Poor last night
It was really poor, especially against two defenders that really would have enjoyed just having him physically there to run off and kind of ghosting him with those spaces. He just wasn't up for it. And then, of course, Trent is probably... I'm Robertson on that other side as well, but not as noticeable as Trent, because Trent was miles off the pace yesterday. I think it's a combination of a lot of things, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I think the situation that we found ourselves in, I've kind of got to give LB his flowers in the respect that he's been piping on about it and not letting me get away with it for the majority of the season. That it's a disgrace that FSG have left us in this predicament. And it's almost as if the chickens are coming home to roost now, because the questions are being asked, the noises are getting louder, the possibility that
Jamie Carragher, who just throws a fit every time you talk about it.
It's his own kid or something. It's really, really strange. I don't get that, and I think there's the whole Scousism in there as well, and I think that doesn't help sometimes. But I think from Trent's perspective, the way that the situation is now, he doesn't get the grace, or he doesn't get the grace that Salah gets and that Verge gets, and it is purely down to the fact that he's homegrown. He is one of ours, and we've invested so much time, effort, energy to make him this product. We now believe, him being in his prime years, there should be no other project than you now. Seeing Liverpool at the top and wanting Liverpool to be pushed over the edge with you being a captain, winning medals, beating Manchester United's records in league titles, going to get another Champions League and being remembered as a legend. So the thought from a Liverpool fan's perspective is, how could you walk away when you are that close to achieving something unbelievable? It's really hard for us to process. I am different.
It's not hard to process, though, Errol, when you realise it's Real Madrid, man.
You can't say no to them. You can't.
It's Real Madrid,
no matter who you are.
But I've said for a while, there's the whole English thing of, Trent doesn't necessarily get respected in the English sphere of football. And I think from a personal perspective, I think the only way Trent puts a big silencer to that is, if I play for Madrid, Madrid only get the best. So Madrid haven't come for Reece James. Madrid haven't come for a Luke Shaw as a fullback. They never came for a Maguire. They've never came for all of these other names. They've never even came for a Kyle Walker. It's because I am Trent. That's why I'm at Madrid. And I can understand that. I think I'm always going to have a little bit of a bias of, I look at things from a prism of Trent's particular situation at this moment in time. He's at a junction where he could do the Steven Gerrard thing, but Steven Gerrard's his idol in football. Grew up him idolising Stevie G. That was his idol. But
not Gary Neville.
Not Gary Neville, no. But for Scousers, and I speak as a Scouser, in football, it doesn't get much bigger than Steven Gerrard in Liverpool. Even if you can talk about the David Beckhams, or you can talk about other players that have achieved massive things globally. As a Scouser, Frank Lampard, we will always say Steven Gerrard is that guy. He's up there at the top. And I'll be 100 with you. As a black man, there is more than just Steven Gerrard. We think of, when you grow up and want to be a global icon, we think of Michael Jordan. We think of Lewis Hamilton. We think of Tiger Woods. Because and I'm speaking for myself here, so let the chat think of what the chat is, and whatever else can think whatever they want. But we look at that because we can see identification in that. I could see myself being a global superstar. And I think Trent probably leans into that space ever so slightly. Don't know how much he leans into that space, but I would struggle. I would find it very difficult for anybody to convince me Trent doesn't have that kind of, I can be a global phenom, and he won't become a global phenom being at Steven Gerrard's level. I'm just sorry, it just wouldn't happen. So if he's got that level of ambition, I can understand why the Real Madrid pull is tempting to him. What I will say is, though, park it, draw a line under it. He needs to be able to be vocal enough to turn around and say, I'll decide my future at the end of the season once I've done my job for my...
he probably has done that, though, hasn't he? He's probably told the club that he's getting off.
Well, that's big that, maybe, by the way.
Well, why not? Why wouldn't you tell him that, Potsy? Why wouldn't? If you're Trent and you know that you're leaving, you're going on a free, why don't you just tell the club?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that he has. I was meaning, but yeah, I don't
But
know why he wouldn't.
if he's told the club that he's going to go in a free when Real Madrid are bidding 20 mil, why isn't the club just taking the piece?
Because you're going for a title. You can't sell him. It's 20 mil. You don't
They're
sell
not gonna
Trent
take that, Errol. They're
Alexander-Arnold
not
for
gonna take
20 mil.
20.
When
I'm
you
not saying
work-
every-
The money you get for the league title is more than 20 mil.
If they offered you 50, 60, then you're in a situation where you're like, damn,
Look.
like 20 mil, what's the point?
The club already know. I mean, I don't know if any of you have seen Ashley Cole's little segment with Peter Crouch. Yeah, sometimes they can't just tell you what's going on because maybe the powers that be. You know, you got to understand, football's a very, very powerful business run by the mafia. What you don't want is to piss off the wrong people. And then where you thought you were going to Real Madrid, now you can't bloody go to Tranmere Rovers. Do you get what I'm saying? Because these brothers have the power to mess up your career with a single button. Do you know what I mean? Literally. So I think Liverpool know. They do know. I don't think 8 years service, Liverpool born and bred, he will just leave Liverpool deserted. But I also want to just confirm and concur with my learned friend Errol. As soon as Real Madrid comes calling and you put on that shirt, you automatically become a Galactico. I'm not going to lie to you. Gareth Bale was a great player at my club. When he went to Madrid, he became a Galactico. So
what about Adebayor? What about Adebayor? Was it the same for him as well when he left to go there?
Adebayor is a madman. And they make mistakes. But generally speaking, you are a Galactico. So as soon as he goes, he will be, for all intents and purposes, up there with the very best in world football right now. And he unless you make that move, this is what we were banging on about Kane for. Like you're right, Errol. You know, he's done 8 years and he's done it all at your club. He's won the league, he's won the Champions League. Now he wants to taste a little bit of samba, and he wants to have a siesta in the afternoon. And who can blame him for wanting a siesta in the afternoon? Bloody hell, I would like a siesta in the afternoon here as well. It's so bloody cold. So,
Errol.
can
I ask? Sorry, Deji, go on.
Yeah, but also, it's not that deep as well. Do you know what I mean? I think Liverpool fans, you should give him his blessing. He's a loyal servant, and you've already got a ready-made replacement in Conor Bradley, who you can also nurture in the same way and turn him into a Galactico one day. So for me, it's a win-win. The only thing I'm surprised about is 20 mil is taking the piss. For someone of that ilk to be offering 20 mil is a piss.
They don't want
Real Madrid piss on our chips and be like, how we're big bro and you. Do you know what I mean? Because Real Madrid feel like they can be feisty to any club. And I just think even at this point in time now, you'd think there's a way to handle and respect clubs of a certain level. But Real Madrid just being out and out disrespectful is it's their play to cause as much disruption between the player, the fan. And I think ultimately that hurts Trent. So I'd be looking at Real Madrid thinking, you could have had me and there could have been a way where I could have went with the grace. But if you're going to make my life difficult in my last 6 months,
I don't agree with that, Errol. I don't think that bit's serious at all.
Even if it's not, but then
that's to unsettle, isn't it? It's to unsettle.
It's unsettle. Yeah. But then on the other side of it, when I also deep it, I'm like, Trent they've steered it to the point where you're now starting to see the ugly side of Scousers. I'm not tarring us all with the same brush, but Liverpool fans, you're starting to see the ugly side of
and ones that burning Gerrard's shirts in the street and all that shit.
Yeah, and very emotional about the situation. That is a drop in the ocean of what Real Madrid fans get like when
100% Errol. Not just that, mate. Imagine him dropping the performance he dropped yesterday in an El Clasico. He's got to get very, very, very used to fans going off. The question I want to ask you, mate, is we all know about the Salah situation, the Van Dijk situation. The other thing I think that you've got to be worried about now, mate, is it's not just the right back that you need to replace. I know Conor Bradley's coming through. He's looking good, but we've not seen this guy in a 38-game season. He's played bits and he's coming through, which is great. It's left back and right back, Errol. Like Andy Robertson has been, and I echo everything that Carragher said yesterday. Legend of the club, fantastic, brilliant servant, but he's on his way out. We targeted both of them yesterday, and Tsimikas I don't think is the guy to take over that mantle. So who do you see them going for to combat both those sides? Because that is two major parts of your play.
There's actually a lot of left backs.
There is a lot. I'd go for Aïdara if I was.
I think the
I'd
left
go
back,
Kirkes, man, or Anthony Robinson.
What about Robinson from Fulham?
he's a bit too old for the profile. He's probably a little bit too old for the profile of what FSG would want.
That Kirkes, man, that Kirkes.
Kirkes is meant to be the one that's heavily spoken about. But I think left backs we could probably dip into the market and we'd probably spend 45 million towards 50 million on a left. Yeah, I think we would. And I think right back, I think we'd give Conor Bradley 12 months to earn his stripes and see, can you do the 38 game season? Are you capable? Are you robust enough? It hasn't worked. I think it's Calvin Ramsey. I don't think it's worked for him while he's been out on loan, and I don't think he's going to get up to the level. And again, he was a Klopp signing and acquisition, so I'm not sure if Slot really think it would be in his favour. So I think it might be getting an understudy, or the same way where we've had Robertson and Tsimikas, the level
Gomez
from Robertson.
has played there a few times as well, hasn't he? Gomez is quite adapted there.
But I think where Robertson's level has Tsimikas has always been there, and Robertson's levels slowly got to there. And I think they're both meeting. I think we'd do something similar on the other side, where Bradley we'd hope to go up, and we'd find somebody that would be adequate cover in the off season, so we don't burn him out essentially. But I take your point completely. And the fullback situation for me is a very important one, because Klopp in his first couple of seasons had Coutinho as the creative fulcrum of what Liverpool were capable of doing. Once we sold Coutinho, we got Van Dijk, we got Alisson, the creativity came from the flanks and the fullbacks, and that had been the foundations to what set us up to win Champions Leagues, to win the Premier League. And the last 2 years, obviously, it's been in transition. Klopp's gone, Slot's come in. Slot hasn't had the till to go and make his squad yet. So it's going to be really interesting.
Maybe he'll go for that. He'll go for that Feyenoord right back, that Geertruida, the one that guys are wanting or whatever.
Don't go back to Holland. Don't let your manager go back to Holland.
Yeah,
don't do it.
We were really interested in him, but Leipzig went and swooped him up.
Oh,
big up, Pete. Big
hello,
up, Pete.
lad.
There he is.
Hello.
How are ya? How are
Is this a quick substitution? Shall I go out now then?
Well, you got a new
Yes,
on, haven't you?
Deji, come on, mate, we're off.
Let's go and have our own show called Gutted and in the Mud.
Oh man,
Get Lawless on that one. That'd go platinum.
We'll have a Forest fan on here as well, but they're playing, so you know.
Can I just be positive though before we move on?
Yeah, are you winning the league? That's what we want to know. Have you won the league yet, or what? We want to know.
Quadfather. There was Quadfather talk in the chat. Quadfather. Call me the Quadfather. Call me the
Errol, before you answer that question, I really want you to just do the right thing, because some of us, the likes of myself, and I'm not speaking for you, Dan, but Dan as well, we are really hurting. So I need you with chest to say you're winning the league. If not, as my Nigerian brothers will say, calamity will be bestowed onto your club. Because if you can't speak with chest now when it's really good,
don't come with the judge. Don't come with the judge.
You know what I'm saying? Then, I'm not coming with any judge. Basically, what I'm saying is, enjoy and for once, just enjoy this moment and confirm you've won the league. That's all. I just want to hear that, because you know what? While I'm in my pain, if you give me that, I'll be forever grateful. How about that?
The positivity I was going to end
Hang on, boys, I'll get this voted down. Come on, Errol.
I wanted to big up Cody Gakpo for becoming such a clutch player for Liverpool, because if he continues to
You're
score...
a politician. You're going off about Cody. Answer the question.
Yeah,
Let him land.
If he continues to keep scoring big goals in big games for us from now until the end of the season, Liverpool will win some silverware. 100%. He can't even say it. He can't even say it.
Go on, Errol.
Wow. you know what I find
Love
crazy? Yeah, LB, let me come to you on this one. Do you know what I find mad? If I was in Errol's position, I'd be looking at all the clubs around me. I wouldn't be caring about what I'm doing so much, and I'd just be like, "Yeah, I think we've done it." But Errol's like, "Oh, I don't know, man."
The thing is,
See,
yeah, my club has done irreparable damage to his mentality and all Liverpool fans' mentality, which is fair enough, really. You know what I mean? Their greatest ever Premier League era ruined by my football club. So I understand it. However,
No, I'm not ruined. It's giving me my best memories. It's still giving me my best
well, yeah,
memories.
one COVID premier. This is the year, bro. This is the year that
I've
you
won
need to
Champions League. I've won Champions League.
Oh, yeah. Against Spurs. Like, no
gave
one
us
really
the
cares
best
about
comment. He gave us the best comment as well, LB. Do you remember? He gave us the best comment.
I'm being nice on it. The thing is, yeah, this is the year that Liverpool fans are going to be able to have that trophy, celebrate it with the fans. They've already Arsenal and City are miles off the pace. Miles off the pace. Arsenal have got no chance now that Saka's injured, and City had no chance soon as Rodri got injured. So, yeah, congratulations, Liverpool. Called it weeks ago. And, yeah, GG's, man.
Well done.
Well done. I can't say it better. Let's touch on City LB actually first, because it looks like they're back, mate. Savio's cooking, Haaland's scoring again, and
back.
you're on your way to silverware, bruv. Can't talk to me.
We're certainly not back. On another day, we could have been 3-0 down within the first, 25 minutes, if it wasn't for West Ham's horrific finishing. The only thing that really improved was our attack, because we have 3 problems on the pitch: defense, midfield, and attack, and that's why we've been so bad. Whereas against West Ham, our attack was actually pretty decent. So we've got 1 out of 3 things now working. We can't fix the other 2 unless we make signings, and our rumour mill is completely dead. So I don't know what's going on.
Marmoush, no?
Yeah, Marmoush is looking like it's going to be a summer deal. I think the Egyptian Donny's just got a little bit too excited, but it looks like I think City have pretty much agreed a deal for that to happen in the summer. So yeah, for us, it's unfortunately, because this is not standards FC, but it's top 4 and give the FA Cup a good go, because that's it. Unfortunately for us, we can't do it. We
What about Champions League, LB?
Not unless we buy a defender. We need a right back and a CDM. If we get a right back and a CDM who are good, then we've got a chance. But without them 2, no chance.
Pushing off, bro. Pushing off. Big player.
I don't think he's going to turn the needle. But yeah, it's what it is, bro. Get top 4 and we go again next year. This season's a bit of a write-off at the moment, man.
Man, I've never seen LB like this. I've never seen it. I've been like this for
the last fucking 3 months. What are you on about?
No. No. I just mean in general this season, not like today. I just meant it's just. I thought it was going to come back a little bit more happier or something.
You've been waiting for this pot, though. You've been saying for the longest. You've been waiting for
it's
the
beautiful to see. And what's annoying is I really like LB, and he's not one of those like arrogant, deluded Man City fans who gives it. Do you know what I mean? Your face. I wish he was, because I'd just be laughing at him now. But it is what it is.
Don't worry about him. He's in the pub a lot more now. He seems to be in the pub a lot more now.
Well, now there's no title talk. There's nothing to talk about. I got more time to chill out. You know what I mean? So I say it, man. I was chilling last night up till 3 a.m. watching YouTube videos, watching movies and that. You know what I mean? Listening to tunes, bro. You know what I mean?
No stress now. No stress. You feel
zero stress. Just get me top 4, and I'm ready to go. I'm in pre-season mode, man.
Do you make signings in January? Do you make signings in January?
If we don't, then we're fucking stupid, because at the moment in time, then we're probably not going to get top 4 at this moment, at this rate.
I just got a question.
We got to get a DM, and we got to get a right back, man. We get a right back and a DM, top 4. That's us done for the season.
I've got a polite question for you, LB, and I just have to say, I don't know about the rest of the panel, but I like this version of LB. I remember when we first met, it was all fireworks display and there's all bravado, but it's good to just have a normal conversation. Now, I said it was the end of the road, and I was proved right live on this channel. Please like and subscribe. Are you ever coming back? Is the question. Because there's a lot of City fans, Plymouth, shaking their bum violently, like maybe this is a one-off season, and that they've got this idea that for some entitlement that you will be back next season. Now, just to qualify, I actually think you're done. I will see you on this show because your club's better than my club. But in terms of City doing anything, I think your time, your cycle.
You might not be on Race for Europe next year, so you might not see me on the show.
I'm doing a show.
You can see me on the show as a viewer. I'll see you in the chat, innit? Deji Spurs in the chat, man.
LB,
Speed, Kevin, Parry.
Don't worry. We're going to be doing LB watch on Dusty Bros, mate. Don't you worry about that.
Low blows, but no, on the level, LB could you come back, or are you in agreement with me? You're done, and we should start looking at top 6 and the sort of players that you want to bring in the summer.
I think we'll win the league next year. I think we'll make signings this summer. We'll win the league next year.
Wow,
that's a hot take, that, you know, dog.
Especially with Millie in the room.
Well. Wait a sec. As it stands, you're losing your 3 best players in your football club, so you're going to be dusted next year. Arsenal won't do what's required in the transfer market because they never do, so they'll be dusted at some point next year. So long as my club, does what it's supposed to do this summer, we will win the league next year.
Doesn't go anywhere near United, Spurs, Newcastle. Those we're nowhere near.
So based on
Chelsea, no Chelsea even mentioned either.
No Chelsea.
No, Chelsea are not going to do it.
Disrespectful, that, isn't it?
No, Chelsea will win the league next year.
No, not next year, no.
You've already ruled out the fact that Liverpool have lost 3 of their potential best. Arsenal aren't going to be.
No. Factually speaking, you are currently losing them at the end of the season. Until they sign a new contract, factually, you are losing those players.
But factually speaking, you're not going to do any business yet.
Go on,
so
Billy.
it can't just be you're not going to do this. You're not going to do this, but we're going to do this.
That's not the same thing, bro. Well, that is not the same thing.
How's that the same thing, Billy? That's
not the same thing, bro.
So you've just said, as things stand, Liverpool are going to lose their best 3 players.
Yes.
Arsenal aren't going to do any business.
No, I didn't say they won't do any business.
You are going to do what you are supposed to do.
Objection. I did not say they won't do any business.
Sustain.
Bro, I said they won't do what's required.
Okay. They won't do what's required.
You agree with that?
But...
Nah, fucking Bales, of course he does.
All right, Arsenal won't do what they require to do, but you will definitely. We will do what we're supposed to do. You can't guarantee that.
I believe that we will do what we're supposed to do.
You didn't do that this season?
No, I didn't. And we paid the price.
You believe that you will do what you're supposed to do, but you don't think that Liverpool are going to sign Salah and Van Dijk up at least.
Well, hang on a minute. Yeah, I'm looking at their football club. Trent's off to Real Madrid. Salah's just come out in an interview and just said they're far away, they're far apart in a contract. He's
plus his
20-minute
celebration doing this.
Yeah, he's not. They're not going to give him the money that he wants on the contract that he wants. The only one that I think they might legit actually keep is probably Van Dijk, but the other 2 I reckon are gone.
No, I can see Salah staying for certain.
Well, will you explain to me why Salah's just come out and said
Salah is going to bleed as much money out as he possibly can?
You think Liverpool are going to give him 350, 400 grand a week on a 2 to 3 year contract at 33 years old?
You want me to tell? I can tell
where
you.
Salah's going.
I can tell you.
The only place Salah's
going to
He's going to Saudi. Yeah, he's getting the same contract as Ronaldo. Bro, he's been whispering about that like a year ago.
Salah doesn't want to be
offered 200 mil a year.
Ronaldo's replacement. You could go back and say with Mane.
The poster boy for Saudi. He doesn't want to be the poster boy for Saudi.
Oh, you're lying, bro. Let me tell you why Salah is keen. Salah goes if Liverpool wins the league, and this is what he says. He says, "Liverpool, I did it. I won the title for you, man, twice, and I gave you a Champions League. Thank you very much. I'm off to Saudi. Good luck. Have a good one." That's it, mate. That's why he's pushing so hard. Well, you think he's pushing so hard now so that you can dominate for the next 5 years? Is that what you think is his motivation? Come on, man.
No, I think his motivation. I think his motivation is Ballon d'Or conversations. I think his motivation is. You might not think he's capable of doing it. That doesn't mean that he doesn't think he's capable of doing it, though. And I know I can guarantee you for a fact now, if he goes to Saudi, he's not going to be in no Ballon d'Or conversation.
He don't give a damn with 200 mil a year, bro. Who gives a crap about Ballon d'Or.
Money
When you get
talks,
200
bro.
mil a year.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just
Money
keeping it
talks.
real.
And that's why he's not signed a new contract,
Go on.
because he wants the money, man.
Who's
he
more likely
goes,
to go
that
Saudi,
whole
De
right-hand
Bruyne
side,
or Salah
De
next
Bruyne.
season?
De
Do you think
Bruyne.
De Bruyne has more chance of
No,
Saudi
I think De Bruyne's going MLS, man.
And me, I think so too. I think into
I
Miami
think
or something.
MLS, man.
He
I don't
wants to
think
go
that
Dallas,
guy
doesn't he?
Saudi.
He wants to play at Dallas. That's where he wants to go.
But yeah, I think he'll go. He'll go
He's got a
MLS.
new,
horrible.
he's got a new team.
Be horrible.
A new team.
He'll burn
Be
to a
horrible
crisp
to
in
see, wouldn't
Texas.
it? Both De Bruyne and Salah both leaving.
To a crisp.
Both De
What,
Bruyne
not
and
in
Salah
Saudi?
leaving the league.
Well, not in
Oh,
Saudi.
That's what the cowboy hats are for, Dan.
True.
both them two leaving the league, I'll be like, oh, it's a shame. They dumped
Oh,
on my
well.
team for the best part of half a decade. But there we go. Listen, let's move to my dusty team, and let's bring Chelsea into the mix as well, because everyone said that Arsenal and Chelsea had a little slimmer hope of trying to put some form of pressure on Liverpool, and that's just gone completely out the window. No, I know you didn't, and neither did I, Charlie. But everyone said that was going to be the next best thing because they want some form of title race. Let's start with us, man. I don't want to go into penalty, because I'm sick of talking about that for the last 3 days, to be fair. I don't really care about that anymore. I just care about what we're doing. We've got absolutely no hope in hell, man. We've got to go into January and actually get like 3 players, not just one. Ethan Nwaneri's now out for weeks. I'm hearing it's like 6 weeks as well. So now we've got no Saka, no Nwaneri, no Sterling. We've got Havertz, who's ill at the moment and was supposed to be back. I don't know what he's wrong with him. Ødegaard was, I don't know if anyone saw him, but he came on and looked like he was a zombie on the pitch. I don't know what was going on there. I don't know if anyone saw him at the final whistle. That was quite off-putting if you were eating at the time, the stuff that was coming out of his face and his nostrils. So he definitely wasn't well. Then you've got at the back, you've got some. I've got Timber back now finally. I don't know what's going on here, but I kind of accepted that this was going to at some stage happen when I saw the absolute shambles of a window that we had in the summer. And Turkish summed it up right, really right. I was listening to him earlier, chatting with Curtis, and he said, when you need to go in January, it means you didn't do enough in the summer. And that's so true. We did nothing in the summer. And look at the state of it now, I have got to say, I think Arteta has to hold a massive L this season. Oh, you just hate Arteta and want him out. No, it's facts. I don't know what this guy's doing. I don't understand any of the tactics. We look boring. It's walking football. We're time wasting in the 26th minute. We're getting books. We've got 9 bookings now for time wasting. That's the most. We're top of a table at least. And then we've got Raya, who's been booked, I think, 4 times in 4 games now for kicking the ball out. And every single game it was 1-1, by the way. It wasn't like we were 3-0 up. Every single game it's 1-1, and he's got a booking for kicking the ball out too long. You've got Ethan, who got booked for that. You've got Timber, who's suspended, for that game because of that. That is a joke. It's pathetic. It's silly. And at the end of the game, we've got Partey trying to throw it on, and he's taking an age, and Anthony Taylor just goes, "Got him, mate. Let's blow," and just blows for full time. We're needing a goal. This is
you're
bad.
a joke club, man. I'd be real with you. Yeah, I think your club's a joke. The way that you play football is ridiculous. Time wasting all the time. Your transfers, like ours in the summer, were horrendous. Yeah, horrendous. That Marino, bro. These people, who pretend like they watch all these games in like the foreign leagues and that, and come out here, and watch and say, "Oh, Marino's fucking mint." Yeah, I watched Spain in one of the last, the first or second international break, because I was watching Zubimendi, right? I watched this Marino, absolutely useless. I was like, what does this guy actually do, man? Yeah, all these people guessing. Yeah, this Calafiori as well. Yeah, I'm not too sure about him. Scored a fucking 6 goal against us. Of course he did. Sterling. Yeah, this is another PR spin when people went, "Oh, we got Sterling, and we're only paying 130 grand a week of his wages or whatever." So you didn't actually want him then? Is basically what you're saying. You negotiated a deal where you only had to pay 130 grand because you didn't actually want him.
Deadline day panic.
Deadline day panic. They wanted rid. Yeah, they wanted rid of him, and you just went, "Oh yeah, go on then, we'll take him, but we're only paying." So you span it as this. Oh, look how good this deal is. We're only paying this. Yeah, you're only paying that because they wanted rid, and you just thought, "Fuck it, we'll take him." Your season.
How much of it then, LB, is on
transfers?
How much of it do you put on the board and ownership, and how much of it do you put on the manager this season?
Well, I think Arteta's got a big part to play when it comes to the transfers. I think he picks all 3 of them. So all him, innit? You know what I mean? For me, it's like, bro, this is not good. Yeah, everyone's been saying you need a striker. Everyone's been saying you needed a Saka replacement. I said in the summer, you guys need another attacking midfielder. No, but we've got Nwaneri. No, but you've not really got Nwaneri, have you? Because he's not going to play him. As proved, he's only started to get into the side now. When Odegaard was injured, never played him. So that's just like, how are you going into a season in 4 competitions with 1 creative midfielder?
Someone sporting director as well.
Makes no sense, man.
Who's doing the transfers in January? There's no sporting director.
No, we've got an interim guy called Jason Ato, who apparently now all the PR guys are saying was the reason Edu did so well. Of course he was. Like, it's just a load of nonsense. Let's be real. It's mad. Like, if we don't do a business in January, our season's dusted. We could have real serious trouble. We got from now till the 5th of Feb. We've got Newcastle tomorrow night, which I'm not confident about because the way our squad's looking, it don't look great. We've got them again in the second leg. If we don't have a 2-goal advantage, I don't think we're going to be confident of going up St James's Park when in 2 seasons we've had 2 shots on target. Then we've got Manchester United, who at the moment are going to be on fire confidence-wise through that in an FA Cup game, which a lot of people are saying that actually they could be favourites because they're going to take it more seriously than we are. And then we've got the North London derby at the Emirates. So this is 3 massive games for Mikel Arteta. And if you lose them 3, you're out of domestic cups. You've got Champions League or bust. And we know what our record's like in Europe. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, you're looking at it negatively. What happens if we win all those games? We have to. It's a must. All 3 of those games are must win because I never accept a loss to Spurs. I'm not going out of them 2 domestic cups again for the 5th year running after winning one. Yeah. And Champions League, I mean, you're having a laugh, as they say, because there's no way our European heritage suggests we're going to do anything in that. And there's no way the way we're playing is going to do us anything in that. Now, I can understand you've got injuries, but I've got no sympathy because I said this would happen. When that window shut, I said, that is a poor window. Negative. It's a 7 or an 8. Are you kidding me? We've got Marino, who I don't really think I've seen enough of yet, but I've seen enough to know that he ain't going to be a first teamer. He's a squad player. Calafiori, likewise, keeps getting injured, but when he's on the ball, I'm not too sure he looks too comfortable at left back. We've got Raheem Sterling and Neto, who have hardly kicked a ball. We've actually bought a cup-tied goalkeeper to come and play the cups. That's how embarrassing it is. It's just, honestly, man, it's a joke. And I've accepted it. It's just, I'll be proved in May. Right in May that we are not a serious club. We haven't got a serious ownership. We've got a board that's walking out, tearing apart, and we've got a manager that cannot get us across the line. That has done well to get us up there challenging. But sorry, man, there's no way I can sit there and believe that Arsenal are any serious about going for a title. It just looks an absolute mess. And the thing that frustrates me is everybody's crap other than Liverpool this season, and we're crap with the ones that are crap. We're not up there with Liverpool. That's the disgrace.
Other than Liverpool and Forest.
Yeah, who were 2-0 up, by the way, Forest.
And I had a nightmare yesterday. And I met this fella called Wolfie on Pete's channel. Part of me thinks that Nottingham Forest, these punks, they could win the league, you know.
Don't say that.
Do a Leicester.
I swear down, if Nottingham Forest wins the league, I'm smashing my head on this laptop live and
I'd rather them win the league than like the others, to be fair. So
because we asked a question was asked yesterday, if Liverpool somehow drop points against Forest, I think it would be squeaky bum time, like legit. And I think even Errol will be like, you know what, this is
Brentford away, Deji, as well. Brentford away that's a tough game.
Then you've got Arsenal fans saying that they're not serious. So at one stage, I was thinking, hold on. So if Liverpool can potentially flop this thing, and Arsenal can flop this thing, and sorry, Charlie, we ain't bringing your club into this thing. Then who else is there? Well, it's Forest, crikey. That could be the maddest story ever. Anyway, I don't want to speak ahead too soon, but it just shows that everyone is really, really dusty this season. If we let Forest come out.
I agree, everyone is dusty, man. Let's come to another dusty club in
Are
Chelsea.
You saying that purely because Forest have got Nuno, or because Forest are actually balling out?
It's just because how they're playing, isn't it? Just because how they're playing.
They're just Spurs fan, isn't it? So the irony of them getting rid of Nuno and then them going to Forest and then
getting Champions League with Forest.
If he wins the Prem with Forest, I swear, Dan, that stadium won't be there. That's as far as it gets on this channel. It won't be
let's move, man. Chelsea haven't won in 4, Charlie. Don't know what's
Yeah.
happening. Maresca getting blamed for not using his squad. And to be fair, I don't think he has used some of the subs when he should have. We've got some performances from Jackson again where he's missing everything. There's a lot of people talking about Gusto not really performing. I just think Chelsea are doing what I expected them to be. And that was, I thought they would be in a top 4 race. And I think that's what they are in. I don't think I ever had them in a title race this season. I said to Don that there were about 3 or 4 players away from seriously mounting a challenge. And I think if you do get your best players fit, you've got a good chance of going on a run. But at the moment, it looks as if without Lavia, the midfield ain't quite as balanced as what you need it to be. And I'm just going to be real. I think there's definite goalkeeper issues, striker issues. I know you score goals, but I do think you need a 9. And I think there's a centre-back problem. That's what I would say looking outside, looking in. But talk to me, man.
No, there is. Look, I think first what I would say is that I'm where I expected us to be. We're in a top 4 in January. And that side of things is pretty good. But there's no escaping from the fact that the last 4 games have been poor. The Palace game on Saturday, but I don't actually think we played that badly. The second half wasn't great, but we had more than enough chances to win that game. Action-Pong misses an easy header at the back stick. There's Palmer that's inches away from putting another one in, and Jackson misses a couple of opportunities as well. And then, as we always do, we have a lapse in concentration and we give up a goal. There are deficiencies in the squad. There's no doubt about it. I don't understand how we've spent so much money, but we still need the spine of a team. We need a goalkeeper, we need a centre back, we need a 6, and we need a striker as well. So that for me doesn't quite make I'm like, well, hang on a second there. We've done some good recruitment, but how can you spend all this money and still need so many players? I look at the midfield, and what we've basically done is we've gambled. We've made decisions in the summer based on Reece James, Lavia, and Fofana being fit for the majority of a season when none of them have proven they can stay fit for anywhere near a season. And we've gambled on their fitness, and we've made decisions based on that, and we're now paying the price for it. We shouldn't have let Santos or Ugochukwu should have stayed because Lavia can't stay fit. We should have signed a top-class centre-back in the summer because Thiago Silva left and Fofana can't stay fit. Instead, we signed Tosin on a free. So we actively made our defence worse. And we need a goalkeeper. And the striking situation, I like Nicholas Jackson, by the way, and I think he's a good player. But at the same time, 3 years ago, this guy was playing Spanish third tier. Like, he shouldn't be in the position that he's in at Chelsea right now. He shouldn't be the main guy. Like, signing Joao Felix instead of a striker is looking worse and worse every week. So I don't think there's any coincidence for me that our forms dropped off with coinciding with Lavia and Fofana missing. But I also think the depth is not as good as probably what myself and a lot of others said it was. I think, when we're making changes in the Conference League and the B team are doing the business, I think the level of the Conference League is masking over a lot of these guys' deficiencies and what they're actually capable of doing. The gaffer don't trust the squad, it's clear. Like, you look at the last 4 games, you scored 2 goals against, Fulham, Everton, Palace, and Ipswich. You've got best part of £100 million of players of Felix and Nkunku on the bench. Right? Look, you don't have to be a big fan of Nkunku or Felix or whatever, but when you can see that things need freshening up in the attack, and you're actively choosing not to make those changes, that's where I'd lose a bit of sympathy with managers. Like, you might not like those options, but you've got them. And for me, fresh legs is always better than tiring legs, they might be able to do something. So, look, it's not horrendous right now, but like, if we don't address a few things this window, if we don't start fixing up, then we could find ourselves out of the top 4.
Where's it gone wrong for Nkunku, Charlie?
Mate, he's just victim of circumstances, Errol, I think, because when he come in from Leipzig, right, there was a lot of hype around him. Everyone rightly said it was a decent signing.
He going to build a team around him, though, or the front line anyway.
But the big problem for him was that obviously he got injured, and he started the pre-season under Poch really well. He then got injured. He missed about 4 or 5 months, and then he come back and he was constantly getting little injuries here and there. So he made like 14 appearances in all comps in his first season. We then signed Cole Palmer in the summer of 23. And you look at it, and then his emergence obviously probably wasn't expected. That then puts Nkunku down a little bit as well. But the biggest thing for me was the signing of Felix, because the signing of Felix basically made Nkunku redundant, because you got Palmer as the 10 and then Felix as the backup 10. And now Nkunku's being shooed in as a 9 when he's not a 9. Maresca's consistently said that. And then he gets overlooked for the teenage Guiu at the weekend. is basically what's happened is he's just been a victim of circumstance, really. He doesn't really suit how we're playing. And the signing of Felix basically finished him off.
Wow.
It's mad. I think, look, Chelsea will get top 4. Does anyone see Chelsea dropping out the top 4 in this panel?
Potentially, if we don't sign a centre-back in January.
Yeah, definitely. There's teams around them, isn't there? Villa have started to get around together.
Can I be real?
Because who else was then? So who would be the top 4 if Chelsea drop out, Potts? Who are you expecting them to be the top 4?
That's what I'm saying. I think they'll stay. I think they'll stay.
I think Newcastle look dangerous. I still think Newcastle and City. I think they both look like
we're giving Bournemouth. We're giving Forest flowers. Let's give Bournemouth some flowers. That the way they're playing is absolutely no one expected them to be anywhere near where they are now and be consistent.
Let's give Fulham flowers as well. What my second club.
Charlie, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Sorry, Dick. Go on. Go on, mate. Go on.
Mine was a statement. I never saw Chelsea finishing it before. I was very clear with Charlie from the beginning of the season. What I think is quite ironic and very entitled, and that's my new thing for 2025, entitled fans, is having spent £1.5 billion. This brother, Charlie, is still here saying we need to buy a centre-back. Can you hear the budgie banging?
No. We only need to buy a centre-back because of the injuries we've got.
You every player in the world, and you want more? Work with what you bloody got, mate.
We do need more. We do. The only reason we need a centre-back is because Fofana's injured and Barry Shields out injured as well. Maybe we're going to get Pete's guy Mark Gurhey. That's been looked at. We've got a reduced him anyway. We've got a bit of yellow sticker on him, 20% sell-on clause, so we'll get a discount. So maybe we might go for him. Maybe we recall Chalobah. I don't know, but we do need to do something in January. Look, the top 4 isn't a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination. Forest, as much as we all think they're going to drop out, they're still there and they're still going. Newcastle are coming. Villa will come as well. City are right there also. So there's no guarantees that we're going to finish in the top 4. So we need to sort ourselves out.
Look, I think you're right. I think, the panel's right, to be fair. I actually put Newcastle in the top 4 before ball was kicked. I didn't think they'd start the way they did. Clearly, when they get their players back, they're a good side like a 4. And that's why I believe Newcastle still got a chance. Villa as well, Billy. I don't know what's going on with Villa. I don't want to put any money on them, really, if I'm on it. Go on, Dan. No, sorry, you had a question. Quick, go on.
Can I just ask Charlie a question? Charlie, a few weeks ago, you told me that Jackson could get 20 goals this season in the league. Do you still think that?
Well, how many games have we got left? 18 games left? Is it 18 games left?
1 in 6, brother. 1 in 6.
Yeah, it's 1 in 6 at the moment. I possibly could have gone a bit soon with that, but...
What's he got? What's he actually got? I don't know.
He's got 9 at the moment. He's got 9 at the moment.
Charlie, don't ever apologise for going too soon. I put United 3rd this season. End of. See ya.
Well, to be fair, he needs to get 11 and 18. I mean, that's not impossible, but yeah, right on his current form right now with the 1 in 6, it's not looking likely.
You'll get top 4 if he does that.
Yeah, we'll get top 4 if he does that. Yeah.
Yeah, you need him too, man. Look, Jackson, I give Jackson a lot of stick because of his finishing. I'm a little bit like that with Darwin Nunez, to be fair, because I think he causes absolute havoc.
They make things happen, though.
Yeah. It's the same as
He's
Jackson.
He's a thug.
He does.
Yes. Only notable thing he did yesterday was trying to assault my player. Only notable thing that fraud did yesterday. Can't kick a ball, but can sure fucking Oh, I tell you. I said to the wife, if I see him in the street, you watch.
Right, it's mad.
Darwin, can I have a picture?
Darwin, can you call my mate Billy and tell him how to shoot, please? Oh no, wait, sorry. He's been bagging all of his life before he became an adult, and then obviously it all got ruined, and he never become a professional footballer. Oh.
Billy, would you actually have scored that?
I'd have hit the target,
Whoa.
and I'm left-footed.
Wow. I thought the ball from Xerxes was shocking.
It was, but any professional
Why didn't he shoot? Why didn't
any professional footballer should be hitting the target?
He's shot of confidence.
It's a centre back, to be fair to him, but anyway.
Could
you imagine the limbs if Maguire had smashed that in top bins?
I was already up.
I
was already up.
You'd have been finished.
I was already up by a ring, Errol. I had Errol on speed dial. I was like,
But Billy, I would understand your argument if it was Hoyland. If it was Hoyland, Xerxes on the end of that, I would get it. But the fact that it's a centre back and it's Harry Maguire, who normally blazes stuff over the bar anyway.
Love LB in a bit, bro.
Take it easy, LB. But
that's why
I feel like any professional footballer should be hitting the target there. I get that the ball wasn't the best. I get that. But any professional footballer, in my opinion at least, should be hitting the footballer. And I also think the same for corners that hit the first man. It's inexcusable. You're kicking balls all day. How can you not?
Also calling Cons a world class, that's inexcusable. But we move on, don't we? The fact that I have to listen to Billy tell me, well, I'd have put that in target. Come on,
I would have done.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, Bill, are you gonna get Champions League, Bill? Because Aston Villa are the most inconsistent. I don't know what to think about Villa. I'm not putting any money on them at the moment because I just don't know what they're gonna do, mate.
Are people forgetting here that like there's currently on the coefficient there's like a 99% chance that fifth gets Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Great shout.
Like, the fact is that
Great shout.
Most people are actually talking about
getting top four. We're getting Champions League next season if there's fifth place guaranteed.
Pete, you're looking at them, mate.
Oh, if you get hit up,
you know what it does mean? That means
we've got
it's a great.
If you get Champions League, I'm packing it. I'm done.
It's a great chance for 5 teams to get there. So that means the top 4. It means there's another chance, and Spurs still won't get it. Sorry, Deji.
Sorry to throw a spanner in the works, dead quick. But if you won the Europa League, then Dan, would that take the 5th place away? And you get
Errol. Can you just reframe that? I didn't like
Deji, before you say what you're going to say, and I know what you're going to say. Deji, I know what you're going to say. Deji, please. I don't want to argue. I feel like I'm talking to my wife. I don't want to argue. Listen to what I'm about to say before you say it.
Using United as a
Let me finish. Deji, I'm willing to say that my club aren't winning the Europa League if you are.
Run you, mate. No way. Imagine Errol's using you as boss. Imagine if United.
Dej, you've lost more games than United this season.
I know, but what I'm trying to say, bro, if Tottenham go below United, I am done. Anyway, I'm in Thailand.
That can happen. That can happen in the next league game.
Basically, if Spurs win the Europa League, are there 6 teams?
Yeah, there will be. There'll be 6. Yeah,
there'll be 6.
That's all
right. Sorry, Errol. I had to. We have to
correct it, of course.
If United wins the Europa League, it must be mad. Never. Sorry.
United and Spurs will be the 2 teams to mess that coefficient up as well. Probably, by the way.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Now we won't let the team down in a conference league. We've got that covered.
You won't. You've done that already.
In Tesco FC, so you're definitely not going to let it.
To be fair, we said that with Villa last year. Everyone was like,
we're serious though. Don't worry about that.
Where was this?
Let's have a look at the difference in quality of team. Yeah,
if you can't have just you might as well go home.
All the teams that we played, bar one, are playing higher European competition than they were last season. I bet that won't happen with Chelsea.
Chelsea. I looked at Chelsea.
And it didn't happen with
there's only
West Ham
Fiorentina in there. Ain't there only Fiorentina that you recognise, Charlie? That's pretty much it.
Real Betis are in there, Potsy.
You might be all right.
Shameless.
You might be all right.
on that bombshell, lads.
Love Errol. Love,
Take
bro.
it easy,
Let's try and come to a close. I want to do Newcastle Spurs in the last segment. And then
not even talked about Villa yet.
No. That's why I want to go Villa now because I want to do it
in January. Would you take Douglas Luiz back? Would you take Luiz back?
That's what I wanted to ask because apparently he's available, bro.
How much?
I'd love Luiz back.
How much?
On loan, apparently.
What a fall from grace for this £120 million worth player. Jesus Christ.
I'd take Luiz at Newcastle.
He's a fantastic player.
Oh, so you were
the team that should be going after him are Man City.
Yeah, I agree.
He'd be perfect for Man City.
He came from Man City, didn't he?
He was
Yeah,
in
he
the
did.
academy, yeah.
Yeah, he was an academy player.
Yeah.
Then.
I think he'd be a great signing.
They
I think
tried
he'd
to
be a
get
great
him a
signing
work
for
permit,
anyone, to
but
be
it wouldn't
fair.
go through.
But
Yeah,
look,
I'd
to me, man.
snap your hands off for Douglas Luiz. I love Douglas Luiz. I'd love for him to come home. And Monchi's even said if there's a possibility of getting Douglas Luiz back, then it's something that we would look into. So whether we're one of the two teams, and I expect City to probably be the other team, then obviously it's something that I'd love to happen. I just don't really see where he gets in, to be honest with you. We've just spent 50 million on Onana. You know, the midfield is already quite congested with Tielemans and Kamara. Yeah, but we've just spent. I don't mind him, actually. I think he's a good player. I think he brings legs into the midfield.
Games, though, Billy. Can't seem to finish games.
It's a weird one. It's weird. But I suppose when you've got an additional player like a Douglas Luiz to bring off the bench, maybe, or a Ross Barkley, as he's shown so far this season, then yeah, you don't really need him to finish games. Obviously, it'd be nice to see him do to finish a game. But yeah, I'd love to bring Luiz back. And when I think about
you need width in my
Marlon's coming.
Yeah, that's the other two things we've got that I'm over the moon that we're acting quickly in January. We've got Marlon, who's apparently agreed terms, personal terms and everything.
He was at Arsenal as a youngster. Good player.
Oh, was he? Yeah. I like what I've seen of him, to be honest with you. The little that I have seen of him, from my understanding, he's not been great so far this season. But I think I expect him to go into that Diaby role that we had last season, to obviously add a lot more pace into the front line as well. Obviously push Leon Bailey a little bit as well, who's not been great, got his goal at the weekend, got the winner, and hopefully that will push him on as well. So yeah, to the fact that we're acting quick with a position that we need, and as well right back we're linked with Oscar Mingueza as well from Celta Vigo, who very versatile, can play anywhere along the back four and even in midfield as well, I believe. So yeah, I'm glad that we're acting quick in the positions that we need to. But yeah, if Douglas Luiz is there, then I'd love to see him back. It hurt me to see him go to another Premier League club, to be honest.
Villa for me, they need to sort out what's going on with Duran and Watkins, either one or both, or what they're doing. But
I think that's done, to be honest with you. I think Duran's the man. Now, do you look at the chance
that before though, Billy? You were adamant that Watkins.
Oh, really, Mr. Ollie Watkins, mate? You were banging on
that. When in the group chat? In the group chat?
Yeah, you were adamant. Watkins is the man. What's changed?
No, nothing. Well, the thing is, for me, I look at the games against Brighton. Watkins again. It's the story of his season. He's missing too many big chances. He had an opportunity against Brighton, a free header.
You're a striker coach, Billy, with your finishing, doesn't he? He needs you up there teaching him.
I'm available. But yeah, he missed the free header against Brighton in the first half. Again, virtually the same chance that he missed against Leicester as well to kill the game off. He missed that against Brighton as well. Could argue that cost us 2 points. And then the game against Leicester, it's just not working for him at the minute. And I think, for me, if you put Duran in those situations, I think he scores the 2 goals, at least 2 goals. The header is a header. He should have done better. I can see you smirking, Pete. You're not going to get a comment out of me.
I'm just saying that at least Watkins doesn't stand on people's backs. Like I'm just saying.
The thing with Watkins,
he's a gentleman. He's a gentleman.
Watkins does the right thing. He's a respectable guy.
The thing with Watkins, that the team, the work that he does for the team is second to none. He runs his socks off non-stop throughout the 90 minutes, pulls defenders ragged, but it's just that last shot with him that he just can't seem to put the ball in the back of the net at the minute. And, you know, last season, I've said this for years as well, haven't I, Potts? The only thing you can knock Watkins about is his finishing. Last season, you couldn't say a thing about him because he was bagging his chances, taking them really well, and was quality, top quality. This season, from the first game of the season, I mean, the chances that he missed against Arsenal bots, he's just not been there. But yeah, like I say, the work that he does off the ball, fantastic. But in front of goal, I've lost my patience a bit and bring the run back.
Just to say, Billy, that me and you were debating before the season started between Solanke and Ollie Watkins, and I'll just leave that there. How you described Watkins just a moment ago was very cute. Very cute. He works really hard off the ball. Who doesn't work really hard off the ball in the Premier League in 2025? What I would say is this is rubbish. We've been saying he's crap, Billy, and I need you to publicly confirm that I was right. You would prefer Solanke ahead of Watkins. And in fact, that's what I need to hear, Billy, and then
I wouldn't. But I wouldn't. So I don't know what you want me to say.
I just need you to confirm that Solanke is better than Watkins.
But he isn't.
He's not confirming.
I tried to be nice. Don't worry. I'm going to come back to you.
To be fair, where are Villa at the moment in the league? Are you eighth?
We're eighth, I think.
Eighth. To be fair, Deji was saying you were going to be out of the top four quite early, man. He's not been too wrong, to be fair.
Well, we're what, 3 points away from Newcastle in fifth?
To be honest, I've been pretty right about a lot of things. It's just my club has really let me down this year.
It sounds surprised that Spurs have let you down, Deji.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a serious surprise for him.
Third, Deji, you said.
I remember when Deji said third. Let's come to your club against Newcastle. Postecoglou throwing his teddy out the corner again, looking down at the floor in another press conference, getting quite funny now. It's comical. I think this guy's got to go. I don't really see the point of him staying there. I think he's got one way of playing. He is definitely not in it. Look, I'll give some respect to Spurs' depleted backline, because it is, when you're playing Spence and Archie Gray there, you got problems with your injuries, right? But at the same time, I'm still seeing exactly the same style of play from Postecoglou. I don't really see him changing much up. He seems to have a little bit of allergic reaction to James Maddison. He either don't want to start him or wants to get him off as quick as possible. And I think he's a top player. I always have rated James Maddison. So I don't really understand what's happening there. And then we'll bring that Newcastle into it as well, because I've been really impressed, man, to be honest with you. So I'll start with you, Dej. What's going on at your club, and how long is this Postecoglou staying here, man? And you're not a fan, are you?
No, Postecoglou needs to go. I realised, and I think I was clear after the Brighton game when we lost 2-0, that I was genuinely concerned. And I remember on this show saying, Dan, that at the rate that we're going, Spurs could literally get 18 defeats this season. And I sit here on the 6th of Jan, having already taken 10. So the possibility of Spurs having 18 L's is more possible than not. Who would have believed that come August of last year? The truth is, the reason why Tottenham are in the mess is for one reason and one reason only. When I was making my predictions that Tottenham's squad was better than Arsenal's squad, I didn't start. That Tottenham had the potential to beat some of the best teams in the league. And we saw Tottenham at the beginning of the season go toe-to-toe with Newcastle, go toe-to-toe with Arsenal, slap up Plymouth. And that was the fall of LB live on this show. And the way we slapped and disposed of Billy's team, we have a team there. But this team has been serially mismanaged by Postecoglou. This brother, let me just give you a couple of things that this brother's done as to why I've already been looking at lastminute.com to get him on Qantas at Heathrow Terminal 3. He will say, Udogie, Pedro Porro, I need to play them because we ain't got nobody. Yeah? We haven't had anyone to change them up. Jed Spence comes in and looks better than both Udogie and Pedro Porro combined. So then that makes me think, so you didn't have to. So what are you looking at in training? Maybe if the players needed rest, You could have brought in Jed Spence a little bit earlier. Yeah, maybe that would have helped. Then you're asking someone who's played centre mid all their life to play in defence. That's like asking me to drive on the left-hand side in France or Germany without a sat-nav. I'm crashing into someone. Let's be real. And
It's not that hard.
no, but you know what? When you're so used to driving on the right, them little moment in time, you need about an hour to recalibrate. And when I drove to Paris last year, it took me about 3 hours to recalibrate, and I took my own car. To get what I'm saying? If I was on the left-hand side with the left steering wheel, it probably would have been worse. Then you're asking Jed Spence, who's a right back, now playing left back against Liverpool, to mark Salah. Oh no, but we're going to leave Salah. Then Trent's going to send the ball to Salah. So he's got to sprint from the front all the way to the back. He's a madman. And that is the reason why Spurs have been getting caught. It's not that Spurs is a bad team, but Spurs have been poorly managed. Why would you ask somebody who's playing on the wrong side to now leave, to play a high line and leave Salah? And then who's Salah up against? Oh, he's up against 18-year-old Archie Gray. And we've got the fridge in goal. That was the other thing. He said he's not bringing in a goalkeeper.
You got one in now.
We had to bloody get one. Have you seen how slow the fridge is?
What about Austin Powers? What about Austin Powers the other day?
Stone Cold did all right on Saturday.
Austin Powers was all right.
Now, Austin, but look at that. Austin Powers literally was able to do what Vicario couldn't do the whole of last season. Catch a ball from a corner or hit the ball away. Because that Newcastle team, they're the land of the giants. Do you get what I'm saying?
It was funny. There was a bigger cheer for him catching the ball than when they scored.
Because if that was Vicario, we probably would have conceded 4 goals just from the corner kick. Let's just be real. So I'm looking at players who are doing the job, who are on our bench that you didn't use. And I'm like, why? Why not? Then we've got the worst front three in world football. I mean, Brennan Johnson, Son, and Solanke, or better still, we started with Timo Werner. They're not scaring my kid. They're not scaring anyone at little kickers. Yeah, the little kickers, little 4-year-olds. No one's scared of that front three. Absolutely disgraceful.
But that was your first summer signing as well, Deji. Werner was the first bit of business you've done. You were desperate to extend that loan.
Well, this is the crazy thing. I don't like, and this is when I know that he's lost the plot. 2 things have happened. I don't like the fact that I can see something from my living room. He who works with the players can't see it. He had the audacity a few weeks ago to have a go at Timo Werner. We've been telling you for over a year. What are you doing with this brother? You madman. He tried to convince us that he's a good player, and then he decided to have a go. But the worst one was after the game on the weekend. Postecoglou last season came out and said he would never argue with ref. Ref decisions are final. It is what it is, mate. All of a sudden, he's so pissed at the ref, and he's blaming the ref for us not winning. No, it's not the first time that Tottenham have been robbed by the ref playing Newcastle. I think the worst one.
No. Don't get into this Rob business. Don't get into this Rob business.
You know,
they have a tendency for that, Dej. They have a tendency for that.
Oh, don't you start, because I'll come for you as well. Don't you start, Billy boy.
Was an absolute disgrace.
I am now.
Remember that. You remember the
what competition you played in, Pete? What competition you played in?
What I'm trying to say is,
sorry, Dej.
And then the last thing I want to say is this. Sorry, guys, because I needed to get this off my chest.
Go for it.
I believe that in football, you make your own luck. If you're playing good football, you're doing well. The teams near the top of the table, they tend to have the rub of the green more. And when you're at the bottom, you tend to be more unlucky in certain circumstances because you're not good enough, and then it's further compounded with the fact that some decisions go against you. The truth of the matter is, Spurs have not been good enough. 10 games. We didn't even let Nuno get to 10 defeats, and we were quick to get rid of that brother. And look at him flying at Nottingham Forest. Postecoglou is out of his depth. His style of football works for a one team league. So for example, Celtic or Rangers, and then it's easy to bully the rest of the teams. PSG, Ajax, but not in the Prem. And so for that reason only, he's fired.
Get Ryan Mason gone there. Ryan Mason will be dusting his coaching manual off, won't he?
Right, if Ryan Mason even walks there, I'm gonna throw my mug at his bloody.
Yeah, but it ain't Ryan Mason's fault. It's the owners. Like whoever signed off that deal for Timo Werner, like, needs to be sacked anyway.
He's in the chat. Watch yourselves.
I don't care. Like and whoever signed off that deal needs to be sacked both times. Okay, the fact that you got him back after the previous season was an absolute joke anyway. But Ange, he's ran his course. He's a one-trick pony, in my opinion. He is way too stubborn to even try and change it. George, I listened to George today on Said's channel talking about, Eddie Howe was having a difficult moment last season and he managed to work his way out of it. Why can't Ange? Well, Ange doesn't change.
One tactic. He's
got one tactic, one way of playing, and if it doesn't work, he'll just persist through it. He hasn't got any alternative.
Why is that though, Pete? Why are there so many Spurs fans that are sticking behind Ange Postecoglou? I don't get
because
it.
There's nobody else. If there was somebody else out there, if there was somebody else out there, they would have him out.
We all want him to stay, right? Other than Deji, we all want him to stay. That's enough to tell.
Let me tell you the reason why. There's a load of Spurs fans that are happy to keep Ange at the moment. For me, it's about you guys. We should all be staying in our lane. We look over to Arteta and Arsenal and we think, oh, Arteta finished 8th and Arsenal were able to take it. And so we think that maybe by sticking with him this season, the way Arsenal stuck with him, he will get it right in the 3rd season. I don't think that, though. One, because we're lower than 8th. The second thing is I actually genuinely believe that he is a gambler. He has got an addiction and he needs help. Because what he does with Spurs and that high line is not science. It's gambling. He hopes that it does something, and more often than not, it doesn't bloody work. And we all see it. And so Tottenham fans thinking and hoping that maybe next season Postecoglou is going to get it right. Well, that is a big risk. That is 007 Casino Royale. If Postecoglou stays too long at Spurs, I think the damage could be irreparable. I really think he can go to the abyss at the moment. Yeah.
Got to ask what David R's put in the chat about Spurs. Is the treble still on?
Okay. So
or is it a double now? Is it a double now, not a treble?
This is where the content creating side of things gets a bit techie for me. I'm going to talk with my head, but also allow me to talk with what I see. My head says no. But Postecoglou is a madman. Whether you like it or not, he's bonkers. And bonkers people sometimes do the most bonkerish things.
He always wins in his second season, Dej. Always wins, doesn't he? He told us that.
And also, bro, what's so weird is that every rival fan that we've played recently strangely have been shitting themselves. I have no doubt that Pete was kind of shitting himself before the game.
It's not how he looked on his building to it.
But you know what I mean? I'm like, what? And even when you watch the game, I know Newcastle didn't come out of gear 1, but I was really, really upset, Pete, by your club. I thought that was one of the worst performances I've ever seen in my life. Don't come here taking your bum 6 wins, any of that crap. You were rubbish. You let a depleted Spurs team turn you inside out like Kylie Minogue. Yeah, you got the win, but you guys were rubbish. So
you had 2 shots on target.
What's that?
In the whole game. You had 2 shots on target in the whole game. And there were routine saves.
We had a dead
down the middle for Dubravka to just catch.
Well, there is no way you could have had the level of depletion that we had and even scored a goal.
You created nothing. You might have had more. To be
Oh, we
fair,
scored.
we dominated possession in the first half. You scored the early
Oh,
goal.
you let me
Fair
score.
enough.
You let me score.
And that was a good goal, to be fair. Very good goal. After
Oh,
that, we dominated you all the way up to half time. And we probably should have been 3 or 4 up with the
You were
chances
happy
we
with that
missed.
performance, maybe, Pete?
First half, definitely. Apart from the first goal. Other than that, we dominated you for the first half.
Man.
We dominated you in the first half.
Mate,
In the second half, I will say that we dropped off. We sat deep, we dropped off, but I'll be honest, the boys look really tired. I've been saying it last couple of days. Our boys look really, really tired, and you could tell that they were. But even in the second half, as what's just been put in the chat, Gordon should have had a penalty. Gordon should have scored, and Barnes should have scored later on in the game. So even though we had a poor second half, we could have had genuinely 3 goals off the back of that, and maybe more. So even though we weren't great, we still notched a number of different chances that we could have won the game.
Potts, can we just retract the statement?
For me, that tells more for me about you, Dej, and your team. That tells me more about your team.
What?
Let me tell you, if the shoe was on the other foot and you had the level of decrepitness on the pitch, we would have slapped you inside out, mate. The fact that Tottenham team, you could only limp over the line with a 2. That second half, we did
limp over the line.
And I ain't said that in a long time, bro. We did that to you in that second half. I have to say, if that's what you're offering today, there is no way you're finishing in the top 5.
My opinion of this going into this game, Deji, my opinion of this was I didn't care how we got it. I wanted the 3 points. That was it. And I took that. We went to Man United on the Monday night, okay? And we came to you on the Saturday. Now, regardless of where you guys are in the league, regardless of the whole situation, we don't do well at Old Trafford, and generally we don't do well at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We went and won both. I'm not going to complain at all. I'm not going to complain. And I tell you what, anyone else on this panel would not complain about that either. You'd be happy with taking the 3 points and getting out of there, regardless of your performance. In the first half, I thought we played well. Second half, I don't think we played well. But equally, I don't care. We got the 3 points, and that's all I was interested in.
Do you think it was a penalty on Gordon, and should the Gordon goal have stood with
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What about a handball? The Gordon goal, was that fair?
There was nothing wrong with it. Now,
I'm not saying there was.
What I will say is that I actually thought it was going to get disallowed.
So did
because it hit his hand. I thought I didn't celebrate. I kind of expected it to be disallowed. But when they broke it down afterwards, it actually made sense. Let's not forget. Remember back in the lockdown period where the ball was hitting their hand on the halfway line. The ball was being played through 2 or 3 times, going into the net, and they were pulling it back. And people go mad. It hit their hand over there. It was an accident. They changed the rules. It's going to be
the consistency, though, Pete. That's what it's going to be. Because Kai Havertz had it last year against Villa, and it was like handball, and it's like it's not. But okay, it is in this law. And now it's like this has now come up. And then I think everyone was surprised by whoa, because I was like fair play. Because I wasn't really screaming about it. 1, because it's Tottenham, and 2, because, well, I didn't actually think it was a deliberate handball. But I've seen them given, man. So it's just the lack of consistency, isn't it?
I think if his hand was up,
like the licked.
It would have been a handball. But the fact that his hands were down.
Hi, Dan. Hi.
his hands were down.
He's done 2 in 2 games, mate.
He's not even moved. He's not even moved the ball hand towards the ball. Bergvall is kicked the ball at his hand. At that point, if the ball then gets kicked into the net, off his hand, I think it gets disallowed. The fact that the ball then falls to Bruno takes a couple of touches, plays it into Gordon takes a couple of touches into the box and finishes it. Because it's part of 2 or 3 phases, I think that's why they've given it. Now,
it's not 2 or 3 phases, though, is it? If Bruno instantly picks up the ball, lays it off to Gordon, and they score from it. When you're jockeying a defender, or as a defender, when you're jockeying a winger down the line, why do all of them have the hands behind their back nowadays? Because if their hands are even by their sides, you've seen it given for penalties time and time again. I was amazed that was given. Amazed that it was given. And I in my personal opinion, I don't think it should have stood.
It wasn't in the same phase. It wasn't in the same phase. Bruno's had to play the ball.
Bruno's picked the ball up, passed it straight to Gordon, and goal.
Yeah,
it's not even 5-6 seconds of passing.
But that's not the same. Regardless of how long it is, it's not considered the same phase, which is why it wasn't given. If, like, as I said to you, if it had hit his hand, fallen to Gordon, Gordon takes a touch and finishes it, I do think it gets disallowed because of how quickly that transition was. The fact that it hits Joe Linton's hand, it falls into Bruno's path. He takes a couple of touches, runs with the ball, then plays it in. Gordon's then into his next phase where he goes into the box and scores. It's not the same phase. I'm not saying. Then we need clarity on what a phase is. Then we need clarity on what a phase is. I'm not arguing against it. I'm saying to you, like, if they'd have disallowed it, I'd have probably said, okay, fair enough. But I'm seeing it from what other people are saying, from referees, and from what the rules are saying, is that it's not the same phase, and so therefore it didn't directly affect the goal that then happened because there were other phases in terms of Bruno on the ball, Gordon on the ball, and then Gordon finishing. That's why it wasn't given. I see what
you're saying, but I think if they're talking about phases and things like that, then we need to clarify as to what is a phase. Because in my opinion, I think that happens. The ball's landed straight to Bruno, pass, goal. As far as I'm aware, it wasn't
as quick and as easy as that. It wasn't as quick and as easy.
The problem we've got is that a similar situation to that, like at some point further down the line in this season, will be ruled out. That's the problem with it, is that if you let that one stand, that's fine, but that's got to be the precedent. But we know it won't be, because there'll be similar situations to that, and the goal will get chalked out later on in the season.
But for me, I don't think it should. I
don't think it should either.
I agree with the decision. You can't just kick a ball, whether he's trying to play the ball past Joe Linton or not. You can't kick a ball at a person's hand and go, handball, that don't count. Exactly. Because Joe Linton wasn't even attempting.
You've seen penalties given for that.
Yeah, I know, but this is why the rules changed. Like, I think if you were in our position, I don't think you would be so against it, Billy. I think it's easy to say that from that position. If you were in that position and Villa were on the end of that, I don't think you'd be sitting here calling it a no goal, that it shouldn't have stood. I think the fact that it's been kicked on his hand and he's not intentionally tried to stop the ball with his hand, and then it's fell to somebody else, has been another phase after that, and then they've scored off the back of it. That's why.
I want consistency. I want consistency, whether it's for or against Villa. I want consistency. But like Charlie said, you know for a fact that something very similar is going to happen at some point for the rest of the season, and it will be chalked off.
But Billy, there is no way if you score a goal and it gets chalked off, you're sat here going, consistency, I'm happy with that. No
exactly. And it's easy to say because it's not your team. What I will say on the back of this, my last point on that particular incident, for me, I don't think any goal like that should not stand, because he didn't intentionally try to handle the ball. It doesn't matter whether it's Newcastle, Villa, Chelsea, whoever, when they're not intentionally trying to, if the ball's getting kicked at their hand and he's not intentionally trying to hit the ball, and there's another couple of phases off the back of that, I genuinely don't think it should be disallowed, because no player is intentionally trying to stop the ball with their hand. I don't think it should be. But yeah, Charlie's probably right. One of them would get disallowed. But my point is, I don't agree with it. I think it should be given off the back of that, because that was initially why the rules were changed, because it went the other way. Any touch of the hand with the ball to hand, it was disallowed. And people were saying, that's not fair. That's not fair. It wasn't intentional. Well, now they've changed the rules and said, well, anyone that's not intentional, it carries on. And this
they should never have messed with the handball rule anyway. That's what it comes.
Well, we're getting into different conversations.
I know, but hundreds of years of football, they should never have changed it anyway, and we wouldn't be in this predicament.
I think
I
we all
agree
agree.
with that.
I think we all agree.
I
with
think
that,
we
but
have to
that's
go
a
back
complete
to black and
concept.
white rules, but that's another podcast. To be fair, let me ask a couple of questions to wrap up. This one comes in from Ron Breaker. He says, "Who's better, Nico Williams or Anthony Gordon?" Based on this season, Anthony Gordon. Nico Williams lit up the Euros, but he scored about 2 goals for Athletic.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of him this season. I'll be honest.
There's not been much chat about him at all this year.
No, well, there has now, Charlie, because we're linked with him again.
What I will say, Potts, like, to be fair, off the back of this, obviously, Anthony Gordon's one of our boys, so I'm always going to kind of back him in that situation. However, I said to you on one of our shows on 12th Man, first part of the season, I wasn't impressed with Gordon, where people were lauding him and he was doing well for England, all the rest of it. I didn't think he was playing well, and I've called him out a couple of times. Early on in the season, he was not playing well. Even after he signed his new contract, he wasn't playing well for Newcastle, only for England. It's only recently, probably since the turn of December, that he's really ramped up. In fact, tell a lie, back in November, the game against Liverpool was his best game of the season up until that point. And since then, to be fair to him, he's improved. But what we've seen now is the Gordon that we saw last season.
Yeah, I agree. I've been impressed. I only see glimpses, you see. I only watch Newcastle's highlights and he looks good. And I mean, what I can tell you is I've been impressed with a lot more than just Anthony Gordon. Obviously, you know my thoughts on Isak. I'm not going to mention him because everyone in the chat goes mental every time I mention him and says hands off. But obviously, Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, Joe Linton, Lewis Hall. I think Livramento is underrated. I really do. I really like
that. That was his best game.
We make good footballers. What can I say?
Yeah, you do. You do. Livramento and Lewis Hall.
You make good footballers and then you get rid of them and then you for crapper players, mate.
I can't disagree.
With Livramento, we wanted to keep him, but he wanted to go and play. So like we tried to keep him, but he wanted to go.
Yeah, because if not, what's he going to do on the bench? Look at Mario Hutchinson.
Well, Livramento would have played because he was back up to Reece James. So Livramento would actually stay. Would have played loads.
Yeah, how is he? He ain't gonna know that. The one person you've touched on that I'll talk about, Sandro Tonali. What we're seeing now is what we're actually seeing now from him. Now they've moved him into the 6. What we're seeing now from him is actually probably a version up. A lot of AC Milan fans, there's a few that I speak to from when we signed him, and they're saying they're watching him like a hawk now, and they're saying he's actually playing better recently at Newcastle than he ever did at AC Milan. They're saying he's
quality. I always thought he was a great signing for you. Always thought your midfield, mate, is as balanced, if not as good as Chelsea's. I think Chelsea's midfield, when it's fit, is quality. Lavia, Caicedo, Palmer, that's ridiculously strong when it's fit. I think Newcastle are right up there with the best midfield as well. Because I rate all 3 of them, brothers. I think Joe Linton's underrated. He's a horrible player to come up against. Bruno G is just phenomenal. And Tonali has been sensational this season, in my opinion. I think he's been outstanding.
People don't get Joe Linton. Joe Linton is a bulldozer. You ain't going to see fancy football from Joe Linton. You ain't going to see a Bruno type creativity on the ball.
You like him though, right?
Openings. I love Joe Linton.
Yeah.
Absolutely love him because he, as you said, he creates balance. He'll go and put out fires on the pitch. He's banging away those Tottenham crybabies on the pitch all day on Saturday. He was just putting them into the ground.
Crybabies, crybabies.
Just whining and moaning. He does it too. He's got the beating of Spurs.
He's knocking around 18-year-olds. Tell him to come to the 12th man on the 24th. Let's see who's really a man.
I make the call.
You've ruined the special guest, mate. You've ruined the special guest announcement.
Listen, last question before we close. Pete, we've got you tomorrow in the Carabao Cup. I'd be rude not to mention what your thoughts are on that one. And then, Deji, you got Liverpool, and I guess you're going to get smacked up because that's what Ange likes to do, mate. That's just who we are, mate. So, Deji, you go first, then me and Pete will have our say before we close.
I think Postecoglou is going for broke because he's a gambler. If Liverpool play 3 or 4 of their kids, Spurs win. If Liverpool play pretty much their first team, Liverpool win. And the sooner we get out of the Carabao Cup, the better, to be honest, because as soon as we're out of the Carabao, Postecoglou's out of a job. Because really and truly, that is the only reason why the Spurs ball have even kept in this long.
Didn't matter with Jose, though, did it?
What's that?
But the trouble will be over, Deji. The trouble.
Yeah, but right. Let me tell you now, mate. I'm finding it very difficult to talk. And I don't like that feeling. I can't lie to you. I don't look at me. I've not even said one rude thing to Charlie, Dan, Billy, yourself. I'm bloody polite these days, all right? Because of the amount of crap coming from my club. So I need to get back to normal. All right.
I like this version of Deji.
What's that?
I said I like this version of you.
Nah, I hate this crap.
Deji, Dan, has there ever been a North London Cup final?
There has been, but like no, not in my lifetime. There hasn't been. And we've been in semis. We've been in semis.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
I won't be. I don't want them.
That would really make my scene.
It's the bottlers challenge, isn't it? Which one will bottle first?
Yeah. Mate, no one would.
Billy, you're fucking eighth. Fucking shut up. You're eighth. You're not fucking 12 points clear of the lead.
I can still have an opinion.
Christ. What have I just heard? What have
I've missed this. I've missed it.
God,
tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
He said it'll be the battle of the bottlers. Who bottles it first?
Mate, there'll be no trophy for
Billy
anyone.
realised he then supports Villa, so he didn't come.
No trophy for anyone.
It doesn't matter who I support.
No, it doesn't. You are right. Listen, I don't
Thank
want
you.
Tottenham. I've got to be real. I just don't want them in that final. I just don't. I can't. I couldn't sleep the time they had Liverpool in the final of the Champions League. I ain't going to be able to sleep that night. So trust me. That was the one. I mean, luckily, it was anyone who gets to a final pretty much gets a bye against Tottenham, it seems. So let's hope we don't get them in the final now. I've said that. Look, I think Liverpool beat Spurs. I've got to be real. I think Liverpool beat Spurs. And then it's about Arsenal and Newcastle. Well, it's actually going to be 2 legs. And the second leg ain't till the blimmin' 5th of February. Can you believe that? That is ages away.
5 weeks in between.
That's
Crazy.
crazy.
That's because the Champions League, though, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's all the new format stuff comes back again. Can you believe we've still not even played the group stages yet for the Champions League?
Oh,
So
mate,
we get
we're
to
still in the
Scrap
conference
it.
league. We'd
This
beat
version of the
Arsenal.
Champions League, this league table is a
I love
It's
it.
brilliant.
I love
It's
it.
fantastic.
Yeah. I bet it is, Billy.
I love
I
it.
agree. I love it. I think
I'm
it's
off to
great.
Monaco in a couple of weeks. I can't wait.
There we go. Look, man, we've got to get through this final, man. But Pete, I've got to be real. I think that we need to be winning 2-0 or something tomorrow to go to St James Park and be confident. So yeah, I think it will be pretty tough. What are you saying, bruv?
Yeah, it's we've got a couple missing. We've got Shaw who's banned and Bruno's banned as well. So we're
That's good for us.
Yeah, massive not having Bruno, but obviously the captain. But he's
Shaw
been,
not injured, no, with that horrific injury that happened to him.
he's not played. He's not played the last couple of games. So yeah, may well be.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell your striker to leave his studs out of people's backs, and we'll be all right.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't add another game or two on the back of that.
Me too, to be honest with you. That's how fucking stupid the FA are.
No, that's how stupid the FA are for not adding games on, because it was a disgrace. Anyway,
nice try.
Anyway.
Time for bed.
Yeah. Look, it's gonna be an interesting one. I'm not sure how Eddie Howe's going to set up. I don't know who he's going to put in midfield, whether it's going to be Willock on the right or Longstaff. I've got a feeling it will be Longstaff. I think Botman will play again. He'll want to play. I thought he was excellent at the weekend.
Did he not come off injured?
Cramp.
No, he didn't. Oh, cramp. Okay.
Yeah. But bearing in mind, he'd not played for 10 months.
Yeah.
And then his first game back, he starts and plays 90-odd minutes. Fair play for him.
Playing him in the
cup exactly. Surely you'd want to give him a rest.
He'll get his rest against Bromley at the weekend. He won't play. I see that I think was going to be. Shaw had not been suspended. I think that was going to be his first start. That they targeted that to ease him back in. But with Shaw being suspended, they brought him in, which doesn't say a lot for Lloyd Kelly. But Botman, I thought, after that initial rusty period where Solanke scored a great goal, to be fair. Other than that, I thought he was excellent. I think he'll start again with a view to resting him before we play Wolves. Other than that, I think the team will be as it is, and I think we'll go for it for the first 60. I think we'll try and create chances. We'll try and get at least a goal against you. If we score first, I can imagine us properly trying to lock in and taking that to St. James's Park, because
I honestly
right
think
now,
even if it's a draw, I fancy you.
I
just
take,
think
give me a draw.
winning.
Give me any draw. Give me any draw, and I'm confident that we could take you back to St. James's and beat you. That's where
what's mad is when the draw come out, I thought, I'll take whoever. Do you know what I mean? And I got Newcastle, and I thought they probably want it as bad, if not more, than us. This competition, because he ain't won saying. I mean, my dad's 66 and he ain't ever seen Newcastle win anything. Do you know what I mean? So that's how long it's been. I'm looking at it now thinking, yeah, this might actually not been the best of draws, because Tottenham would have been a bye because everyone beats them when it comes to the cup competition because they're allergic to trophies. You got Liverpool, who, let's be real, might actually rotate a bit and play some of their kids. So Tottenham might actually find out, oh, okay, this is not the Liverpool we'd expect the other day, like you said, yeah. And then it could be, look, I want to win this competition because I want a trophy. What does frustrate me, and it made me laugh when Pete said, I'll rest him for Bromley. You got Charlie, who's got to prepare for bloody Morecambe. Deji's got to prepare for Tamworth. For me and Dan have got to bloody play each other in the first bloody FA Cup tie, which is a joke, really.
Dan, we had the worst draws of anything last season in the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup. I'm taking this. We at least need this.
We've had Man City, Liverpool, and Man United first round in every single FA Cup in 3 years running. I could do with a Morecambe or a Tamworth. I'll tell you that now.
Chelsea get the easiest draws of the lot. Chelsea get.
I want to publicly declare it here, because what I'm not going to do is join this narrative that Arsenal are guaranteed to be in the final. I actually see Newcastle Spurs final. And Tottenham winning.
You were so close, Deji. You were so close.
Hey, the show's overrun by 20 minutes, and that's what you bloody get. All right.
I'd take that final. I'd take
that final all day long. With Van der Ven back, Romero back, before our ballers back, is game on, baby.
Yeah, we beat you.
No, you don't want to win. You don't want to win the Carabao Cup anyway. You've told us. You don't want to go out. You don't want to
this
go.
This is Deji when his team win the cup.
Deji, if that was to happen,
remember though,
and we played you in the final,
he'll take it.
He would take it. He'd go out and have a nice day with his kids.
No,
if we're lucky enough to get to the final and we play against you and we beat you, you better be outside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium demanding and sacked.
Peter, you're becoming Kevin Keegan.
If he doesn't,
I'm saying if.
I won't be outside the Tottenham Stadium. I'll be at Heathrow Terminal 3, waving. See ya.
Listen, boys, it's a pleasure, and it always is a pleasure, and it has been a pleasure tonight. Big up to every single one of you. Make sure you're following all of these guys. Dan at United First. You've got Charlie at Blue Brother CFC. You've got AV Billy at Total Screamers. Deji Spurs. Loaded Mag and UFC at Pete on socials. You've also got Errol. You'll see him on Red Men TV. And, of course, you know it's LB2. Make sure that you're doing me a favor and getting on this. The QR code is there to scan. The link is in the description for you to go onto the Eventbrite and confirm that you are attending on the 24th of January. We will be at the Hippodrome Casino with special guests and the panel. 12th man will be hosting. There'll be Sophie from Highbury Squad League. Judges will be there. Let's get on it, people. Let's all come and meet each other, meet and greet, and have a good night. So please get on that one as well. And of course, make sure that you are supporting Reality Raffles. 99 pence for a raffle ticket if you would like to go to a football game of your choice. £500 for a football match day experience. You need to get on that, people. Link is in the description. Take care. Have a good one. And as always, we're out of here. Up the Arsenal. Laters.
Fuck Villa.